All right, ladies and gentlemen, in order to be successful for today's instruction, you need to have a whiteboard and a notebook. We are hustling hard today. So, friendly reminder, tomorrow you do have a test, 28 minutes. Then next week it'll be 27, and we'll see how, as soon as we start getting, like, people getting close to the time, we're going to start slowing down. Does that make sense? But as soon as we get to like 28.7, I usually hang there for a couple weeks, and then we go to 26, we hang there for a couple weeks, 25, hang there for a couple weeks, 24, hang there for a couple weeks, 23. So we're not dropping off crazy amounts of time after this, so keep that in mind. But you have 28 minutes for tomorrow's test. You have a focus and a pieces due tomorrow. Hopefully you're done and you can enjoy your evening. So, here we go, on your whiteboard. Please tell me, what is the name of the major war that the Russians will lose that will become the catalyst for a huge amount of change in Russia? Julia. Crimean War, on your whiteboard. Tell me the two teams of the Crimean War and put a star next to the winner. Good. Who are they, Emily? There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name, what is it called when the British control the rights to the Ottoman economy because the Ottomans defaulted on their loan? What is that fancy term for British control of the Ottoman economy? Katie? Capitulations. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what type of economy did the Ottomans have? What type of economy did the Ottomans have? It's based in what? Good. What is it? Alexa, import-based economy. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when you cannot pay your loans? This is like a life one. What is it, Jared? Default. Yeah, you default on your loans. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the Sultan who is going to be captured by the Janissaries, who is going to be the one who gets the Ottoman Empire into all this trouble? Who is it? That's a czar, and that's Russia. What do you got, Lily? Sultan the Selim III. His son is what name? He is going to have all the Janissaries massacred for the cause of death on his father. He will eventually be removed from power by the Young Turks. Who is it? Ashlyn? Mahmud II. On your whiteboard, what is it called? During Mahmud II's reign, he does a moderate reform. It is not liked by the extremists, the Young Turks, and it is also not liked by the conservatives because they try to become more secular. What are the names of those reforms? Tess? Tanzimat reforms. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the group that overthrows Mahmud II and installs a new sultan? Who is it, Sophia? Young Turks. On your whiteboard, please tell me, the Young Turks are going to put who into power in the Ottoman Empire? This guy, for the first year, will be cooperative, and then he'll be like, nah, I'm over this. Who is it, Madison? There you go, Abdul Hamid II. On your whiteboard, please tell me, eventually the Young Turks are going to remove Abdul Hamid II and replace him with who? He will be the final ruler of the Ottoman Empire because it will collapse after his reign. Who is it? Julia? Mahdi Rashid. There you go. All right. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called? What year did they emancipate the serfs in Russia? What year did they emancipate the serfs? Good, Emma. On your whiteboard, who's the dude who did the emancipation of the serfs? Good, Jared. Alexander II. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the first attempt at industrialization in Russia called? Good, Lily. The WIT system. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the only success of the WIT system? And, by the way, one of your peers has done it. You know how I said? You know how I tell you I want to do things and Jared's like, oh my god, I've done it? How annoying that is. Imagine having like a weird bucket list thing of riding this sucker, and I have a kid who did it when she was 7. 7, playing high school. I hate you.
That was Jared.
No, it wasn't Jared. Jared usually has done everything I want to do, but not this time. Now I had another kid. Who is it, Evan? Yes, she's done it, and she's going to do it again maybe this summer. And she said it was awesome. I hate playing high school. You people are just the worst. Specifically Jared and Melissa, but that's fine. All right, on your whiteboard, please tell me. Okay, please tell me, what do we call the third reform when the Russian government is trying to keep information in because they don't want to be embarrassed anymore? What do we got? Brian? Repression. Okay, that's where we left off. Is that correct?
Well, we got to where it's Nicholas II.
Oh, nice. All right, here we go. So, I think we can all agree things are not good in Russia. Yes? People are not happy. Things are not good in Russia. Tsar Alexander II gets killed by his own people. Yes? In a massive mob, and his little son is watching from the window. Okay? So, how do you think that affects his son watching his father be mobbed by the people? Not good. So when you think he becomes, Tsar of Russia, do you think he's going to be warm and compassionate or hateful? Hateful. And that's exactly what we're going to see when he comes into power. So we are going to see Tsar Alexander II is dead. Okay? You also need to know, what was the last official thing you wrote down? Okay. All right. So Tsar Nicholas II comes into power. You need to know that. Tsar Nicholas II comes into power and continues to do pogroms. Pogroms. P-O-G-R-O-M. Pogroms. That is the removal of Jews from Russia or any place. Pogrom is the removal of Jews. Okay? Now, today, by the way, after school, we have a Holocaust survivor here at Plan High School. Yesterday was the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Yesterday. I can't remember exactly what year. You know I'm terrible at math, so I'm not even going to try. Is it the 75th? Okay, so it was a big one yesterday. 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to hear these stories because they're going silent. Yes, we talked about that. When history goes silent. So it's today at 3:45 in the auditorium. You should be there. I will be there. It is an important thing that you will hear. Anyway, so pogroms are the removal of Jews. You're going to see them. They're going to start in Russia. They're going to spread westward eventually. You need to know that Nicholas II is going to invade Russia. Nicholas II is going to invade Japan in what we call the Russo-Japanese War. You need to know that heading. Russo-Japanese War. Russo-Japanese War. It's not up there, but you need to know by its name. It's called the Russo-Japanese War. You need to know that the Russians are defeated by the Japanese. And didn't we talk about this yesterday? Why did the Japanese beat the Russians? Shannon. They're industrialized. So it's a humiliating second loss for the Russians. Okay? So, Russo-Japanese War. Nicholas II is like, yeah, I'm in power now. Ooh, look at these muscles. Yes, let me go to war. Gets his butt kicked. Okay? And the people in Russia, how do you think they're going to deal with it? Not well. So, immediately after the Russo-Japanese War, we have the Revolution of 1905. You need to put a star next to it. It's a very big deal. Okay, the Revolution of 1905. The people take to the streets and protest Russian abuses. Okay, eventually, it will turn into Bloody Sunday. Not the U2 song, that's the Irish Bloody Sunday. However, Bloody Sunday you do need to know, and that happens in 1905. In 1905, there is a huge protest outside the Winter Palace. You don't need to write this down, but I just want you to know what Bloody Sunday is. Yes. 1905. It's the Revolution of 1905 accumulates in Bloody Sunday. What it is, a bunch of people go to the Winter Palace. The Tsars have 4 major palaces and a bunch of like houses. 4 major palaces, all named after the seasons, because that's where they stay during the special seasons. During the Winter Palace, a huge mob shows up outside. Well, your boy Nicholas II has flashbacks about his dad, correct? His whole family's there, so he orders the Russian military to shoot into the crowd. They're throwing snowballs, and they start throwing rocks, and they start throwing trash into the gates. Were they going to break through the gates? No. Shoots into the crowd and kills thousands of people, men, women, and children. That is what Bloody Sunday is. Now, Bloody Sunday is going to come back because Bloody Sunday is the official start of the Russian Revolution that will kick up in the middle of World War I. Okay, so it's coming back. Don't you worry. We'll be discussing it again. Okay. China. Skip a space. Center. China is the next heading. I hope you enjoyed Russia. Would we agree it's a mess? Yeah. Okay, so China is your next major heading, which is all over the news right now. Good God. There's a disease spreading in Russia. I believe Russia is in China right now, and it is getting worse by the second. Yesterday, it's over 100 people are dead, and almost over 3,000 people are infected. Cities have literally been locked down. It is the craziest shit. 2020, man, what a year. We're not even through January. We almost went to war with Iran. Iran also sent off another rocket towards one of our embassies, by the way. Our president is impeached for the 3rd time in U.S. history, and we have a disease that's killing China. So. Oh, there's 6 cases here in the United States. Yeah, there's 6 cases here in the United States. There's like 150 around the world. So here we are, 2020. What a doozy. Here we go.
Australia's on fire.
Huh? Oh yeah, and Australia's on fire. Yeah, it's still on fire. Oh yeah, for sure.
Kobe died.
Huh?
Kobe died.
And Kobe died. So, I mean, that's on the like, smaller side of things, but alright, we gotta get back on track because this is on your test whether we cover it or not. Here we go. So China, ladies and gentlemen. China is dependent on the British for silver. China is dependent on the British for silver. Their economy and their political power is based on it. So, is it something that they can flirt with? No. They have to keep it going. They have to. Even though they don't trust the British. You need to acknowledge that. They are completely dependent on the British because of the silver, even though they don't trust them. Okay, so do they like the British? No. Are they thrilled that they're dependent on them? No. So what the British tried, what the Chinese tried doing is trying to limit British involvement. So the Chinese, because they know the British are dangerous, try to limit the British control on China. You need to acknowledge that. You need to write that down. How do you think the British are going to feel about that? Oh, they're not going to be happy. Well, they aren't going to be happy at all. So the Chinese are going to try to limit the British involvement in China. Okay, because they know they're shady as shit. That's going to piss off the British. So, what the British do is the British are going to take Indian opium, and you need to know it's grown in India. They're going to take Indian opium, sell it to China at incredibly cheap rates, on the mere point to get them addicted. Why would Britain want the Chinese addicted to a drug? They're the only ones who can provide. Katie? Yes, and there's also another side hustle to it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get addicted to really hardcore drugs, I'm talking heroin and opium, which is, it's not popular here in the United States. No one's like, hey, I'm going to go smoke some opium on Friday. Yeah. It's not a thing here in the United States, but it is around the world. Heroin and all that stuff, like super hardcore drugs. If you don't get it in your system, you'll fight for it, right? Which is why people do crazy things for it. So they create a little Chinese army of drug addicts. Oh, you think I'm kidding? You think I made this shit up? Do you think I'm this diabolical? No, I just think it's amazing. They made a little Chinese army of drug addicts to fight the Chinese. No, you need to write that down. It's like historical fact. Okay. They made little Chinese drug addicts to fight with the Chinese on behalf of the British. So, they want Chinese people to fight Chinese officials. They want Chinese drug addicts to fight Chinese officials to allow the British to continue trading in China. Now keep in mind, guess what all the Chinese are paying for their drugs with? Silver. So who's making crazy money here? The British. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you were China and your whole country, not whole, I'm talking a third of your country, so like a shit ton of people are addicted to opium from a foreign power trying to get more power in your country, what would you do if you were China? You would be like, holy shit, we can't let this stuff in anymore. So, the Chinese try stopping opium trade. Okay? They go and try to stop opium trade. Well, guess what happens? The drug addicts revolt on behalf of the British. And the British show up with a gunship and say, tell it to my face. Okay, I don't think they said that, but in my head they did. Okay? The British show up with a gunship and they easily defeat China. Welcome to the Opium War. The Opium War is literally like 3 years, and it's mostly British just conquering territory and blowing up ports. Okay, this is the Opium War. Okay, it is China versus the British, and the British are going to win easily for 2 reasons. You need to know the 2 reasons. First reason, there's a lot of Chinese pro-British. Why are they pro-British? Because they're addicted to the drugs. It's a brilliant plan. Can we agree? It is brilliant. And then the second reason is why. Why did the British easily win? Well, they do have a navy, which the Chinese don't have. They're industrialized and China's not. Okay. So, the Opium War. The British are going to get people addicted in China to opium on purpose. And the Chinese people are going to fight with the officials, and they are going to have an opium war, which the British are going to win pretty damn easily. Now, outcome. This is huge. You need to put like 3 stars next to it. This is fundamental. Will absolutely be on your AP exam. Absolutely, 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 absolutely. You need to know this. Okay. Outcome of the Opium War is unequal treaties. You need to use that language. Okay? Outcome of the Opium War is unequal treaties, where China gives foreign countries complete control over China's economy. Uh-oh. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do you think the British are going to abuse the shit out of that? Oh, yeah. Damn white people. Okay? And these will be called spheres of influence. SPHERES S-P-H-E-R-E-S. Spheres of influence.
What is called?
I'm writing it.
Like what is called spheres?
Huh?
What is called that? Like what is?
Spheres of influence is when a country, a foreign power, controls another country's economy. Okay, and you will absolutely know this term backwards and forwards because it's going to only come up every day. Okay, so this is how China gets taken over by the British, the Opium War. They get unequal treaties, and the British are just going to smash their way through. This is really next week's content because it leads right up into next week's content, which is imperialization, which is what this is. Okay, now, that is so important that you understand the Opium War is going to open the doors to the British to coming in. Now, I don't want you to think for 2 seconds the Chinese people are like, ah, shit, well, white people control us now. Nay, nay. So, your next heading is Chinese rebellions to foreign intrusion. Chinese rebellion to foreign intrusion. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of people addicted to opium at this point. But is everyone in China addicted to opium? No. So please don't think everyone in China is addicted. However, there's a lot of people addicted. What? Yeah, of course. Alright, so the first major rebellion, and you're going to write number 1 next to it, is the Taiping Rebellion. First major rebellion in China. Do not think for a second that the Chinese are accepting this sphere of influence without a problem. Every place we're going to talk about with imperialism, where white people come in and take over, everyone is fighting back as much as they can. Do not think that white people just showed up and everyone's like, oh, the white people are here. How wonderful. That is not the case. Okay? So, the first thing that you need to know is the Taiping Rebellion. It is led by Hong Sure. Okay? It is led by this dude. You should acknowledge that he's a school teacher because AP likes that crap. So he's not a politician. It's like me leading us into a war. How terrifying would that be? Oh no. See, I talk a lot of shit, but I don't back it up. Like, no. Yeah, we would die. You're right. We would die. If I'm leading you into battle, you have made terrible wrongs. Okay, you need to know that they are calling for the end of the Qing dynasty. Why are they mad at the Qing dynasty? Think about it logically, it makes sense. Why are they mad at the Qing dynasty? Daniel, write this down, sweetie. Shannon. There you go. You need to make that connection. The Qing are the ones who signed the treaties. So, the people are pissed off that the Qing would sign these terrible treaties. Terrible treaties. Okay? So, they are going to call for the end of the Qing. Now, the Taiping Rebellion wants a bunch of demands. What they want, because they're a big movement, they want free education. Okay? They want communal wealth. So a little bit of communism. Communism has been in China for a long time. Can we agree? Okay? Remember our boy? Who's our favorite man? Wang Mang. Why did he get killed? He tried to do land redistribution, correct? He did a shit job. Okay, and then eventually we'll have the equal field system. Do we remember these things?
Yes.
Okay, because your exam is coming. So, they want communal wealth, okay? They want free education. They want no sex among its people. I know. AP loves that. I don't know why they want you to know that, but they believe that any of their followers should not have sex. If you're thinking, well, how do they reproduce? You're right, I don't know. But here we are. So, yeah. I don't know why they care, but they care. Okay. You need to know the Taiping Rebellion. The Taiping Rebellion is going to lead an attack on Beijing with 1 million people. Are you impressed? Okay, so 1 million people are going to attack Beijing trying to get at the Qing. Okay, so they are going to be defeated. They're going to be defeated by Manchu soldiers. Manchus is a fancy name for what ruling family? The Qing. The British are going to give the royal guards, the people of Beijing, guns. Why would the British want to keep the Qing in power? Hello, it makes logical sense. They signed the treaties with them. So if the Taipings won, guess what? They have to make new treaties. They don't have the same treaties. So they want the Qing to stay in power. So the British give the Qing military weapons so they can defend themselves. So who wins? The Qing win. The Taipings lose and the Qing win. Okay, about 100,000 people are massacred. So, Taiping Rebellion. Pretty impressive, right? 1 million people are going to attack Beijing. Do you think I could inspire 1 million people? Hell no. I don't even think I could inspire 5. Maybe 5 wackadoodles. You'd be inspired by the wackadoodles? Okay, your second major movement by the Chinese is called the self-strengthening movement. So, the Taiping Rebellion failed. Self-strengthening movement is the next one. It is the belief, and you need to know this, Chinese learning at the base, Western learning for use. Okay? So, you need to write this down. Chinese learning at the base, Western learning for use. Okay? It is a slow adoption of some Western ideas. Like today in China, what does every kid in China learn how to speak? English. Why English though? It's the official language of trade and business is English. Okay? I mean the top 2 out of the 3 most powerful countries in the world speak English. United States, Britain. 3rd most powerful country is France. I'm just kidding. Okay, so you need to know that they are embracing some European technology. Okay, they're embracing some European technology. And it is supported by the Qing. Why would the Qing support this? Who can raise your hand and tell me, why would the Qing support this? No one has any idea. Like, we have literally no idea why China would embrace some Western ideals. Shannon? Yes. Okay. So, the British are clearly there for good. Can we agree? They're going to be there. So, they're trying to figure out a way, how can we exist in this space together? And that's what the self-strengthening movement is. And it's going to be supported. Okay. Your third major rebellion is called the Boxer Rebellion. So, the first one is against the Qing. The Taiping Rebellion is hate on the Qing. The second one is, hey, this sucks, but let's try to make it better. Third one is, I hate white people. Okay, so, you need to know that the Empress Sisi, she is a Qing, is going to support the Society of the Righteous and Harmonious Fists. You need to know their name. Also known as boxers. Because when they hold their hands up like this, they look like... Okay, so you need to know their full name. So, Empress of the Qing. Why do you think the Qing finally decide, like, hey, the British suck? Why? Why do you think they finally start seeing the light? The British really suck? Maybe abuses of power. Yes. Terrible corruption. Okay. The fact they don't give a shit about Chinese people. Yes. So they get annoyed and they get fed up. So she decides to start supporting these people. What they do in 1899, you need to be aware of the date. You don't need to memorize the date, but you should be aware. In 1899, they try to rid China of foreign devils. You need to use that language. Which means they kill?
White people.
Yeah, any white people they found, they would just murder them in the streets. Okay, so any white person in China was being attacked. It was super dangerous for white people, but they kind of deserved it. Can we agree? I mean, they kind of deserved it. Now, you do need to put a little bit of a weird thing, because AP loves this shit. They believed, the Boxers believed, European weapons wouldn't hurt him. Guess what? They were wrong. Okay, so they were told. Now this is going to be a trend that we're going to keep seeing, especially with imperialism, which is what we're starting right now with the sphere of influence. They're going to, there's a bunch of this that's going to happen, especially in Africa. They think they got blessed, and then 60,000 people are going to die in one day. Yeah, we're going to see that. Anyway, you need to know that they're going to try to kill all the white people. Okay? It is going to end in a coalition of European countries. What is a coalition? You should be familiar with this term. We have a bunch of them. Coalition is what, Lily? Yeah, it's when a bunch of countries work together. So all the European countries are going to band together to fight back. Okay? So, all of these foreign countries are going to band together and defeat the Boxers. So, who wins? Boxers or Europeans? Europeans. However, there's a massive outcome that you need to know. So, Boxer Rebellion is like white fear number one. Can we agree? That all of the people that these white people have taken over are going to fight back. So what happens is, the outcome of the Boxer Rebellion is that China is now occupied by foreign standing armies throughout the whole thing. Is this a good thing or bad thing for China? It's a very bad thing. Okay, so China is going to be occupied by standing armies by all these Europeans. Okay, your next heading is the end of the Qing. Immediately after Boxer Rebellion, I don't want to write that down. Immediately after Boxer Rebellion, the emperor mysteriously dies. Isn't that shocking? Who do you think was behind that? White people. That's who was behind it. In case you didn't know, it was white people. Okay? Then, his wife, Cece, she's mysteriously dies as well. Why do you think that happened? White people. Okay? So, then we're going to have a 2-year-old on the throne. So, who is easy to control? A 2-year-old. If you're like just trying to control like the government and the economy, like I wouldn't say like a kid is like, because I'm terrified of what's happening over here. So like I'm not going to say a kid is easy to control because I'm mortified. I'm going to say controlling a country of a 2-year-old would be easy to do. Correct? You give him some cookies and then you could do whatever you wanted in the economy. That'd be nice. Okay. You need to know he is. Huh? Okay, you need to know that the Qing officially fall in 1911 to revolution. The Qing officially fall in 1911 to revolution. And what type of revolution is it? What ideology is implemented in China in 1911? What ideology does China have today? Communism. Oh my God. That was people. But we'll get there. Alright, skip a space, center, Japan. No, we're not done. We have so much to do. Ah, shit. Alright, Japan. So, you need to know that Japan has its doors closed. Why did Japan close its doors, people? To avoid the white people. And were they right to do so? Yes, because the white people are only going to get worse. So the Japanese have closed their doors. Okay, they are not happy with white people. So what you're going to see is that the Tokugawa are in power. You need to remember them. Do we remember them? The Tokugawa are still in power. Okay, and they are trying to stay in power. That's all you need to know. Tokugawa are still in power. Then a guy named Matthew Perry from the United States. Yes! Look at us messing around with other countries. Here we go. This is the first time we mess around with another country. Isn't this exciting? Is it the last time? Are we going to join the list of white people messing around in other countries? Yes, we are. So, a guy named Matthew Perry, and I would write 1853, just so you have a point of reference, okay? So, a guy named Matthew Perry is going to force the Japanese to open the port of Edo, which is now called Tokyo. Now, Matthew Perry is a Commodore for the U.S. Navy. So, the United States is going to force Japan to open its doors, okay? Why does Japan open their doors? Because he holds them hostage with a gunship. Huh? No, there's other reasons.
Well, I know there's other
But maybe this is the first, like, kind of annoyance, but we'll see. Okay, so you need to know that he holds them hostage with a metal gunship. Guess what the Japanese have never seen? A gunship before. So we say, Japan, open your doors, oh, we'll blow you up. And they're like, no, you can't. So we blow up a mountain with our gunship. And then they're like, oh shit. And they're like, they open the doors. Now, keep in mind, who are the Japanese only trading with at this point? Guess who doesn't have a gunship? Guess you have like no real firepower or military power? Yeah, like still today. I'm just kidding. Okay, so the people, and you're going to put a star. This is a big deal. So Matthew Perry is going to force open the port and all this stuff. The people in Japan are horrified by how far behind they are. They didn't even know America existed. And then this guy on a ship with this weird flag shows up with a metal ship and just starts blowing rockets into a mountain. Like, what the hell is happening? Damn it, Dutch, why didn't you tell us? Okay, so they're horrified, which is going to trigger the Meiji Restoration. So, Matthew Perry shows up to Edo and say, open or I'll shoot. And they're like, who the hell are you? What the hell is this? Oh shit, you blew up a mountain. Fine, we'll open our doors. Then the people of Japan are horrified by what they see. Like, oh my god, is this country? What is this thing? Why is it metal and floating? How can they do all these things? So what they do is in the Meiji Restoration, okay, it is between the, let me try this again. The Meiji Restoration is overthrowing the Tokugawa shogunate. Why are they pissed off at the Tokugawa? Who closed the door? Tokugawa. So they're pissed off at the Tokugawa because they closed the doors and they're blaming them for putting them so far behind. So the Meiji Restoration comes into power. As soon as the Meiji come into power, they put Emperor Mushito into power. You need to know his name. Okay. They put Emperor Mushito into power. Okay. Their major goal is, their quote is, rich country, strong army. Is this a big turnaround from where they've been? Yes. And they are absolutely, the Meiji Restoration, I would put 2 stars next to it. are absolutely dedicated to industrializing. Why are they absolutely dedicated to industrializing? They don't want to be what? Yeah, they don't want to be weak anymore. Okay, so the Meiji come in and say, we're going to industrialize. And they're like, hell yeah, let's do it. Which is why Japan will be the only country that industrializes. Okay. You need to know that the Meiji government will industrialize with American assistance. Oh my God, did we teach Japan how to raise an army and industrialize? And then, oh my God, did Japan use it against us in World War II? Oh my God, yes. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Okay, you need to know the Meiji are going to industrialize. The Meiji are going to remove from power the daimyo and the samurai. Okay, the daimyo and the samurai completely move from power. Okay, and now for the first time in Japan, you have to pay your taxes with currency, not just things. Because they need that money in order to give it to who? The Americans. Because we're helping them industrialize. For instance, all of our Civil War generals from the South, you know, the ones that lost the war, guess where they went? They went to Japan and taught the military how to fight. So, you do need to know that they are going to create a constitutional government with an emperor. So they have an emperor, but they also have a constitution. And that's pretty much all you need to know. So, Japan will be the only country that industrializes. And who's going to help them? America! Why? Is it because we're like nice people or we're benefiting? We're benefiting. Eventually, is that going to hurt us? Yeah, it's called World War II. Is it okay? I can't read out of my notes. They didn't even know we existed. No. We did. Are you glad we finished content?
Yeah.
That was a lot today. Goodbye. At least it's interesting, don't you think? You killed a lot of white people. A lot of white people were out tonight. Goodbye. Farewell. Exactly, but how cool was it? It was crazy. But the story was kind of lackluster. And the ending was like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Seriously, I could watch 2.5 hours for things.
It wasn't that bad.
My friend said it was really cool. It was really cool. Like, you should see it because, like, the visuals
Did you
are
see?
insane.
Did you see the new Little Women movie?
Yes, I loved it.
I haven't seen it yet.
It was so good. It was so
I love
good.
John and it has Emma Watson.
Oh my god, it was really good. Bye, sweetie. You too, Jonah. Those things are just the worst. I'm glad, like, we're not wasting plastic because nothing sounds worse than one of those falling. No fuss. Abby, Okay. Pretty well. We did bomb on your primary sources. Nothing. You stood up. No, that's not true. I'm not. I'm so sorry. No, I'm so sorry, guys. I was trying to lift you up, and I just like kicked you in the gut. I'm so sorry. I'm putting them in there. No one got a perfect score. But I had 1 or 2. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Your primary scores are online, by the way. Primary scores are online. You got about 1